let's talk about metaverse, right? So I have been working with Microsoft HoloLens for I think in 2014 I started working in that. So metaverse is not anything new. It's not something new because Facebook recently changed their company name from Facebook to Meta. Doesn't make them a leader in metaverse. Okay, they're actually behind if you ask me. Microsoft has been there for a long time, and that was their vision for a while ago. Is that in a world of enterprises where people are communicating from different areas, different cities, and like during this pandemic, you can't even travel. People can use these, HoloLens and other 3D or AR, VR devices, and then collaborate on things, and also looks like they are in real, together more in some spaces. For example, you can be in a park, you can be in a meeting room, you can be in a coffee shop, all those things. So let's talk about what is metaverse, right? It's not new, as I said. So in metaverse, everything is virtual. Let's start with one thing. Everything is virtual. Okay, um, it's a virtual world. It's a digital world. Means you put these, you're gonna put these glasses on or devices on your headset, either AR, VR, XR, mixed reality, doesn't matter. You put them on, and out of sudden, you are in a different world. It's a world can be a made up, it could be a city, it could be a universe, it could be a room. What doesn't matter where you are, and then other people can join from different places, and now you are talking, you're sharing, you're doing things together. And the idea with metaverse really is that, and you're sitting here on your computer, but you can walk around and do something else. You saw those movies. um, in reality, it sounds pretty bad. If you ask me, it's pretty bad for our health and human and all that, because we'll be sitting more on computers. But there's a useful applications as well too. Like look at right now in pandemic world, right? In today's world, somebody's sitting in South Africa, somebody's sitting on India, somebody's sitting in Europe somewhere, somebody's in US. Now they all four people want to work on the same project or want to collaborate on same whatever they're doing together, and want to just go in the same room. Now that makes a to me that's a good application, right? Do I really want to put a headset on that? For not really right now. But there are some applications when you use headset, you can actually work on real project and do real things. Uh, so we will go that a little more, but point is that metaverse is not new. When you are playing a video game, in games you can have your own avatars, right? And you can become somebody else. You can be a mayor of a city. You can be a general of an army. You can be a player. You can be a an agent of whatever you call in James Bond and some of the movies, right? You can be any of those. So that's the metaverse world. Um, So in technically what it is, it's basically a 3D world where you have to use some kind of devices to unload to have access to that world. Obviously, it will have login and all that. You create your identity, you create your avatar, and in future you'll also have your real image, which is like the way you look. That's coming soon. You had properties. You can have, for example, you can join this world where you can go in a city, and you can go on a polls, and you can become a mayor or president, or you can have a there are some games where you can start collecting, building your army, and you can attack on some other world. So that's kind of same idea, but that's not really we are talking about this right now. Here my focus is what can we do with metaverse, what are the real applications we as software developers can create, right? What can make us be, next businesses. So if you have you are building business software for businesses, so how can you take advantage or benefit from these new technologies? And that's really what we're talking about here. Um, so in the metaverse right now, there are two leading companies. Facebook is trying to build a, they're saying that metaverse is the next big thing. That's what they're really focusing on a lot. Microsoft has already been doing its own metaverse kind of version with businesses. So Microsoft is saying, our holographic computing with our HoloLens and combining with other device, and they also launch a new platform called Microsoft Mesh. Microsoft Mesh is an Azure cloud platform where all the data objects can be collected through these devices, and the processing will be done on the cloud in cloud, and then so the communication is really smooth and fast and no lagging, and it can also use AI and machine learning in the backend. So, guys, as I keep saying a lot of these things, make sure if you have any questions, feel free to pose these questions here. So make sure I cover that. So look at Microsoft Teams now. Microsoft Teams have already using Metaverse now. Means you can go in a room, you can use an avatar, you can use 3D shapes, and you can also use holograms. And you like if you have a HoloLens, both parties have HoloLens. You can have your hologram shapes, and then you can move, and you will see me like in 3D how I'm moving on 2D right now on the screen. You can see in 3D. I can move around and things like that. So that's kind of what we are talking about here. It's a big market. I think research just came out. I got this from an online website. It says it's going to be 1.4 trillion market in coming time. That's a big market. Um, so, what is the importance of a blockchain in metaverse? Right, blockchain and cryptocurrency play is going to play a major role because in virtual metaverse world, the currency is going to be virtual. Okay, it's not going to be real cash, it's not going to be credit cards either. The all transaction will happen, it will be in terms of these cryptocurrencies. Okay, and then once you, let's say you are in a metaverse, you are in a city, and you say, you know what, I'm going to buy this house. You go and buy this house, you have to pay for it. So how you pay? You have to pay in cryptocurrency, right? Digital assets. Or and then security is going to be another concern as well. Security and ownership of the. How do you make sure that whatever you own digital, because they are not real, you have no proof. It's like cryptocurrency. You have to make sure they're secure, right? So this is all about building digital economy, right? I don't know if you've heard of, but NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are growing like insane. I don't know where this world is going to, but everybody's building NFTs these days. Anybody I talk to, everything is NFT. Um, I'm working with a couple of projects on NFTs already. So it's just that's what it is. That's what it is. Um, so what are the other challenges ahead in metaverse? I think I see a big challenge is the data because right now when we are talking, I'm speaking here and you are joining me and watching me. This is all 2D data, right? It's going on a screen. 2D data is very small compared to 3D data. In metaverse, everything is 3D, 3D, so there's a amount of data is going to create and transfer from one place to other place. The store is like, for example, if we are communicating this in 3D world metaverse, and we start recording this half an hour size can be multiple times of this 2D size. So that's one big challenge. Number two challenge, security, right? In digital world, if I own something, how do I make sure that the ownership is secure and nobody else can go hack into my system and claim that they own that, right? That's another big challenge. And then third or fourth things are basically, we have seen the effect of social media on children in mental and physical health. So in a virtual world, it's easy for people to say things they would never say in real life. Because in real life, you are in front of a person, you see things, um, and then it's hard for me to yell at somebody or curse at somebody or do bad things to somebody in real life because it's their emotions attached there. But in virtual world, in this metaverse, it's easy for people to bully, to yell, to curse, to do other things, to kick, to shoot, right? So look at all the games. I can go in a game and I can shoot around people. Okay, will I do that in real life? Never. So that's kind of things we need to worry about. And then mental and physical health. So imagine if we are in metaverse a lot rather than doing in-person events. If we start doing all events or meetings, work meetings in metaverse, in reality, physically, we are just sitting around on a chair or standing around. So we are not really meeting. So that is a big effect on our mental and physical health. So those are going to be some of the major challenges. Um, but as I was speaking another conference other day, A lot of people are already thinking about the solving these problems. How if you are in metaverse, how not only you can solve these mental physical problems in within metaverse, but also in real life. So, for example, I have one lady, Linda. She came in talking about how she plans to use metaverse. She said she's going to, because of the pandemic or physical distance, she may have a studio in metaverse that talks about mental health and how to improve your physical health and everything else. So, in other words, she will teach in the within the metaverse, so people can do that in real life, because they can learn how to do things in 3D and pretend like they're doing real, but then they can apply that same thing they learn within metaverse in outside of in real life. So that's one example. Other example is, let's say if four engineers are working on a 3D model or building a boat, or architecting in a house or something, they can learn that doing that in a 3D model. But then after learning and all that, then they can take that out and do that in real world. So there are some applications in metaverse that are going to be very useful, especially from the business side. And that is why personally I'm more interested in Microsoft Metaverse compared to Facebook Metaverse or other metaverses, right? That's kind of I'm thinking. Yeah, so let's take a yeah, we have a couple of questions. So yeah, so are there any consequences for health in machines? So answer is we don't know yet. Uh, right now, most of the devices are being used. Like the guys, they use kids using games. For example, Oculus Rift is a Facebook, and Microsoft Hololens is Microsoft. I use Microsoft Hololens, and after using for half an hour, it's not good. It feels like heavy and feels like that, and I'm sure it's going to have a lot of mental health effects on physical bodies. There's no question that. But since there's not enough data, it's hard to tell what kind of effect, right? Even though they're saying it won't have much, because it has to be approved by the FDA, FDC, or whatever FDA. So we will see. Answer is we will see. We don't know the effects, but it's definitely going to have some bad effects. It's not going to be good. Even look at the phones, right? Phone even have effects. Forget about these 3D devices, right? So for metaverse, do we must have any gear? Yes. So metaverse is all about 3D. It's not. It's more. It's like, so you have to have some kind of devices to view and experience it. It's not a 2D. It's not a screen only, right? Sure, you can use AR. AR is a part of metaverse. You can use your phone. That's part of metaverse. But the real one will be, you will need some kind of gear to view it. Yes. Yes. Can we use this as a virtual meetings? And yeah, exactly. So virtual meet, Microsoft Teams has already launched a metaverse. So that's first application of Microsoft Metaverse is the Teams. In Teams now you can even use your 2D screens, AR, VR, and you can use avatars. So all those combinations. So that's going to be, I think, first major business application, which is already we are seeing it. Um, Now let's take another question that so what skill sets are required to evolve? This is a so skill sets are all about really what technology and what company and what you're targeting. So if you're building applications, metaverse applications for HoloLens, Microsoft, all you need is C Sharp and .NET and maybe Azure Cloud. Yes. So if you are a C Sharp and .NET developers, you can start building um, UWP HoloLens application right now. I have built HoloLens applications already, and they said this is similar technical skills you need for metaverse. And also then connecting to Azure and all that. So Microsoft Mesh is the technology. So Simon, if you search Microsoft Mesh, there's SDKs and there's learning stuff already out there. That's what you want to learn. Search for is Microsoft Mesh. MESH.